All right, we're joined by Maycee Barber, who's back in action. Maycee, how's it going?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing well. Obviously, before you end your fight, obviously you're supposed to fight in December. It was supposed to be Montana, then it goes to Aaron. Like, how disappointed were you that you had to pull out? Because I remember talking to you before the Grosso fight, and the whole plan was for last year's be as active as possible, and then another injury takes you out of another fight.
Yeah, I mean, it was frustrating, but at the same time, like I just joined a whole new team right before I fought Miranda. And being out there, here at Team Alpha Male, I mean, even though I was being taken out from being able to fight, I mean, I was still able to train and there's other things to work on. Just getting acquainted with the team and like all of that. I mean, everything works for a reason. I've had a lot of big opportunities come up. And it wasn't like an injury where it put me out for, a year. And it wasn't an injury that I had to have surgery on. So there was still so much that I could improve on, and that's what I did. And I love the fight with Montana. So, I mean, it kind of worked out for the best, and we got rematched up together. So, I mean, I'm excited. And, I'm also 23. So it's like I'm not, it's not like I'm, old in the sport. I'm super young and I'm super hungry and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, did you think the Montana fight was going to be rebooked? Because to me, I thought after both you guys had to pull out, like, even though you're matched up with Aaron, I thought the Montana fight made more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that they would. I thought it made sense, because they had already matched us up. It was a fight that I wanted, and knowing that I believe we had a fairly similar injury. So just knowing all of that, knowing my recovery time, knowing her assumed recovery time, like all of that, I just felt like if the UFC matched us up, there was a reason why they wanted us to fight, and so I felt like they were going to rematch us up, and that's what they did. They didn't even offer anybody else. The other opponents that they offered me in the middle, when Montana had to pull out, those were the fill-ins. Those were the options of replacements, and so that was not the initial matchup, and now we're rebooked. So I'm just really excited. For one, that she's back to being healthy, and for two, that I'm back to being healthy. So it's just really, um, I'm really happy about that, and I'm glad that she's healthy and I'm healthy and we're ready.
I guess the only disappointing thing is you go from being on the pay-per-view to now just back at the Apex.
Honestly, I don't mind, because my sister is actually gonna have a baby like 2 days before.
Oh,
So to be fighting at the Apex, like in and out and flying back home and going to meet the my first niece or nephew is I'm okay with that. I go out there, get a win, and be able to go celebrate with my family. So as much as I would love to fight in front of a crowd, I know there's tons of people that are going to be watching on the TV. And someday when things are back to normal, I'll be on another pay per view and we'll be back in an arena. So
with this training camp, like you already had a couple weeks before your injury to prepare for. So, like, is it just building off of what you did then, or have you already started like looking at different stuff then?
no, yeah, I mean it's just a continuation, like obviously we were already matched up together, we already both started preparing for each other, so now it's just continuation, I'm back in the gym, back preparing. Sorry, my dog is just walking the house. Back to training and back to preparing. I've been in like this has been felt like the longest. Oh, sorry.
All good.
They're gonna fight each other. It's felt like the a long camp, ever since um getting booked with Montana. I started training for her, and then the little minor injury, we were still preparing for the next opponent, and um now we're back to preparing the same thing that we already were.
And with training camp, I know you obviously work with Corey a lot. She obviously just fought. When I talked to her before, her plan is to stay in Wales for a bit. So, like, who are you kind of working with for the last little bit of this camp?
I mean, there's a ton of people, right now. Obviously, there's Giannis back already in the gym,
Oh,
she fought. Jan's back in the gym. There's a girl, Maritza. She's fighting. She's in Combates. Jesse is out here. There's a bunch of girls from the CSA gym out here. And then just obviously all the people here at Team Alpha Male. There's tons of bodies. It's known as the gym for the smaller guys. So there's tons of people and there's no shortage of bodies. So I'm training with different people.
With Montana, like, is this someone you always thought you'd fight just because you two kind of came in around the same time? You're both pretty young and you both kind of went into the rankings pretty early. And I always thought you two would end up fighting one day.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of assume, if you're in the A division, flyweight, strawweight, especially as a woman, you're probably gonna fight almost everybody in that division, just because we're not as huge of divisions as some of the men's divisions. So as soon as you're ranked, you're probably gonna fight all the other people that are ranked, and if you're not quite ranked yet, but you're an up and comer and you're one of the ones that they're trying to build, of course you're gonna fight. You're gonna most likely fight just about everybody, So I assumed it would be a matter of time before we fought, and I know that we both went through like LFA, RFA together, like in the same kind of time frame. So, again, it's just kind of a matter of time.
What have you made of her run in the UFC? Because she started out really good, was like 3 or 4-0. She had that middle part where she struggled a bit, and then her last fight, like she really had a really good performance against Lipsky.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, every girl that's in the UFC, I kind of, you got to give them respect. They're in the UFC for a reason. But at the same time, I feel like I was definitely on a tear before I tore my knee, and then had a little hiccup. But I'm back on that tear, and I'm ready to go. So she's had great performances, but I'm going to have a great performance on April 23rd.
How do you think you match up against her? Just because you both are very good grapplers, and both your striking is pretty underrated.
Yeah, I mean, we're both great grapplers, great wrestlers. I know she has a wrestling background, striking and all of that. I just know that I'm meaner and I'm more well-rounded as a fighter. And I know that just my why and the reason why I do what I do is just going to really shine through. And just overall, technically, as a fighter, I feel like I'm the better fighter for sure.
And in the UFC, she hasn't been finished, but I know that's like whenever I talk to you, that's something you always go for.
I have to change that.
Yeah, especially, but like, is that something even like not even this fight, but since that knee, you've been putting like just to kind of remind everyone of that, like you still can't finish all these girls?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the plan. I definitely did not put the pressure on Miranda until the end of the third round. Which once I realized that she didn't really have any wrestling or grappling, I should have put the pressure on a lot more. I was a little slow to getting that going, but that's one of the things that I know in my mind. I'm not gonna just like wait for it. I'm just gonna go for it. It's one of those things where I definitely can finish those girls and continue to finish those girls, and it's just one of those things that I know that I have the power to do.
And what do you think a win here does for you? You're ranked 14, it would be 2 in a row, and like you're always a big name in this division, and everyone's kind of calling you out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to be a continuation of what I started doing. I came in on the Contender Series, and I came in and they built me up, and I know that they're going to continue to build me. I have so far to go, and I'm just, excited. I definitely have proved myself in terms of heart, in terms of will and determination, and in terms of just technical ability. This women's division is going to continue to grow, and I know that I'm one of the fighters that's going to show how much it can grow. Especially just, being as young as I am and being able to go out there and put on performances. I just want to make sure that I put on exciting performances. I know I've always said this. I don't go out there to not lose. I'm going out there to win, and I'm going out there to finish these girls, and I'm going out there to prove a statement. And that's just something that I know I'm going to go out there on the 23rd and do.
And I remember talking to you after the Grosso fight, and it was something that you kind of said that you didn't start really getting that feeling of just being in the fight until like that after the second round. So like now having that full Miranda fight and getting back to the win column, like how much better is your confidence and just overall belief now, like fully in your knee and just now in your overall game since that?
Yeah, I mean, I know that my belief and my confidence has been continuing to build. Just being in the gym, training, being around such great people. And then also just dealing with the stuff that I needed to on the inside, my inner peace and my just my ability to really focus on what I needed to focus on. I've always been like a very focused person, but there's a difference between being a focused person and then like not trying to do too much. Like I felt like I kind of was like so focused that I was like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, you know, and like I was a very big perfectionist. And so, you know, if I didn't have a perfect round in the gym, I was definitely like, you know, hard on myself. And it's good to have those great rounds in the gym, but at the same time, I wanted to be able to learn from the rounds that I didn't win. And I feel like that's something that I definitely improved on. And being able to carry that over into the Marin Maverick fight, and then now being able to carry it over into this fight, you know, it's just going to be a continuation of like just a stronger and better fighter. So I'm really excited to showcase that.
We've talked a bit too, and like even through the gym changes, but ever since like you've been at Team Alpha Male, whenever I talk to you, it seems like this is kind of the right spot. Like it seems like everything's good for you. So like how much better do you think you are now, especially now, what is this second full camp at Team Alpha Male?
Yeah, the second full camp at Team Alpha Male, I feel amazing. You know, there's so many great people. Obviously, there's Danny Castillo, Uriah, Joey. There's a coach Garame out here. There's so many coaches and so many people. Ryan Loader's running wrestling. There's so much of like high level people running the practices that it's like everybody comes together and everybody builds each other up. And it's a very mentally strong camp. You know, it's a very mentally positive camp. The energy is high, the work ethic is high. Like it's just a really positive environment, and I love that. And then for me, you know, I also do work on the outside with Eric Thomas, Sherry Riley, you know, just doing like mental training, you know, on a constant everyday basis of like not because I'm not mentally strong, but because I'm mentally strong and I want to keep that edge, you know. And that's something that I've been really focusing on. And so just the combination of both of those things, I know I'm going to be unstoppable. And it's just like, it's just a very exciting feeling, you know? Though. And so it's just like, it's just really exciting.
What's kind of the goal for you this year? Like, especially if you go out there and finish Montana, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a top 10 person next. That kind of sets you up to have a pretty big year.
Yeah, I mean the goal and the plan is to get a finish, get a win, and continue on. You know, it's to see who the UFC. I've never turned a fight down until my injury. I had never pulled out of a fight, and I just want to continue that. You know, I mean the UFC has treated me so well, and Dana and Hunter and all of those guys. You know, they've always taken such great care of me, and they've always had such an amazing plan. You know, Mick as well. And I know that they have a plan for a reason, and I try to go with that, you know, and I really try to do and take the fights that they offer because I know that they have a great plan.
Do you think it's more likely you submit her or knock her out? Because it's hard. Like she's been submitted before, she's been knocked out.
Working on, but I definitely plan on dominating this fight and getting a finish. But again, she's a tough girl, you know, so who knows? Maybe she'll stick it out and she'll be really bloody at the end.
Just a few more things. The flyweight division, like it's finally starting to get a lot new talent. Like, what do you kind of make of it? Like, there's a lot of young talent. Like, it's like you, Aaron, like Casey O'Neill, Fiorot's there. Like, what do you kind of make of like all you guys kind of getting there now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really great. You know, it's really cool to see other girls that are up and coming, you know, and coming in at such a young age, you know. And the one thing that I've learned is as young as we are and we have such big goals, I learned really fast not to set yourself too high and like and set an unattainable goal. And I thought I could achieve that goal, but at the same time, the one thing that I learned is when you get injured, it's like we are such young fighters that we have the ability to bounce back. So I love that we're all young and we're all hustling to the same, you know, to the same goal is to be a champion and to be successful in the UFC. And it's really cool, you know, whether I'm a competitor of theirs or not, you know, it is really awesome to see young women just chasing after their dreams. So I'm a fan of all of theirs, but at the same time, I'm also coming to take what they want, you know, so I have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah. Do you really plan to call anyone out? Because for you, like in your position, you are from like me looking on the outside, it seems like more people want to fight you than you want to fight them just because you are that name still. And everyone seems to call you out more than you call anyone else out.
Honestly, I feel like we'll probably take a look at the division and make a plan. Usually when I'm weight cutting is when I kind of make that kind of plan. I definitely have always called someone out. Obviously I called out Paige. Obviously
Mhm.
I called out Jessica I. Some of those fights happened, some of those didn't. So honestly, we'll see how it goes. But I mean, if I decide to call someone out, you'll definitely be hearing it. And it just kind of depends on I know again the UFC. A lot of people are booked and a lot of people aren't booked. So it kind of is like, why would I call someone out that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense? So um, we'll see. Maybe someone will rub me the wrong way and I'll be like, yo, I want to fight them. But we'll see.
Just last thing, your boyfriend obviously got a big win in
Yeah.
Cage Warriors. What's it like seeing him kind of start out his pro career out?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. Obviously, he fought for Cage Warriors. He's also already booked for Uriah has a
Yeah.
promotion, One Combat and Firepower. He's fighting again on UFC Fight Pass May 1st. So that's super exciting. We've both been in camp together. And his goal is, get all these wins and then hopefully get on the Contender Series by next year. So he's already put that plan into action and he's doing amazing. So yeah, I'm just really happy for him. It's really cool to have a best friend and a person that is in the industry with me. I see so many times where there's a lot of the female fighters that I know, they're in a relationship and they're like in a relationship with someone who isn't in the gym and who doesn't understand the life. And it's a really hard thing. So to be in a relationship with someone who is chasing after a dream similar to mine, it's really cool, because we definitely balance each other out. But at the same time, we don't know how to chill sometimes. It's like that's the one thing. So, but yeah, I'm super happy and proud of him
Oh, well, Maycee, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this.
so much.